Welcome back. Today we're going to tie Kelly Gallup's Found Link. This is a very versatile dry fly pattern as to where it can imitate both the spinner and the adult of the mayfly. Also had fish take this for a caddis. It's just such a versatile pattern. You cannot sink it the way that it's designed. It's like the old hex flies, with the deer body hair for the actual body, and it's unsinkable. It really is. This is, as Kelly explained it, a way to rib Mike Mercer, because the missing link, he said, needed improved a little bit, so Kelly said he found it. So a little bit of back and forth between those guys. Both great patterns. This one has a little bit of a variation to it. Floats a lot, well, you can't really say a lot better. It does float better, a little bit higher in the water column as well. And we'll go into this one, but I'm going to tie this on a 16 today. I'm going to start off with some olive 8/0 thread. Hopefully I don't break this one. I've done pretty good so far, but this one needs a little bit of extra weight, or a little bit of extra tension on the deer body here. So it could be a little iffy. I may break this one here. We'll see. I'm just going to use a ginger hackle to start. I don't know if I like that too much. I don't. I'm going to pick a different piece here. I want something with a couple different, there it is right there. I want these different colors in through here, like the blacks and the whites and the browns. This is a barred ginger, like I was saying. Just cut those off, get those nice and even. There we go, nice even tips right there. I'm going 1.5 inch or 1 1/4 times the length of the hook for this tail, and I just want to set this in. And then run that right to the back. Just like a standard dry fly tail. Just kind of set that out there. You can see about 1.25 inches, about 1 1/4 times the overall length of the hook. And I just want to run this through here. And we're going to stop it at about the 2/3 point, so we're going to leave about 1/3 of the hook. Actually, I can go 1 rep further, I think. Yeah, right about there. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to throw in some Z-Lawn for the wings, and then some deer hair for our hair wing. So I'm going to take a decent little clump here to start with. That's too much, but I'll wind up dropping some, I'm sure. Just like so. Alright, I'm going to throw this in the stacker. Yeah, that's going to be too much. That's going to be too much for a 16, so I'm going to take about 1/3 of that out. Just set that on the hook, see what it's going to look like. I could still take a little bit out. Right there should do it. So now what I want to do is measure this out, and I want these tips going back about 1/4 of the way. I'm going to move my hand out of there. I want these tips going back about 1/4 of the way on this tail right there. So this is going to be almost like an extension of the body, but it's also going to be part of the tail, if that makes sense. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut this square, right like so. And I want to get 1 wrap right around there, nice and loose for now, nice and loose. And I just want to push that down around and then tighten this up. So I'm going to be covering up the entirety of the body. And I'll make a nice loose wraps all the way back to about the bend of the hook. And once I get that back there, that's a little bit too long for my liking. A little bit too long. I misgauged that one, so I'm gonna start over. I just didn't like it, so it's no foul to start over. I got it a little bit too long, so. We'll just redo that one. I didn't like the way that it was set. Go ahead and stack those tips back up, get everything nice and even. And I'm going to measure this out once again. That looks better. There we go. Like I said, cut that off square. Get a loose wrap. Keep hold of this body hair while you're working that down around, because you don't want it to flare out and you wind up having all this stuff going every different direction on you. This way you're able to keep control of it. And like I said, just nice loose wraps all the way back. There we go. That's much better. So now you can see those tips right there. You can see that tail section sticking out really nice. And then once I get back to that final one, I'm going to pull down a little bit tighter on that and sink that in. And now you're just working your taper up to the front. There we go. On the underneath side, you can see that deer hair got all the way around. We don't have any bear hook exposed or anything like that. Everything's pretty clean for us. And then I just want to clean this up a little bit with a few thread wraps. I got a little bit forward on that, but we're able to clean it up. I would have liked to have had that a little bit cleaner. Like I said, I got a little bit too far forward, but we were able to clean it up without too much of a disaster there. So now what I want to do is take the Z-Long, and I'm going to take a decent chunk of this. Cut that out and cut that out. We're going to wind up shaping these wings here eventually. Just set that right on the top. And get a little figure 8 over that. And then peel those back. There we go. I'm going to keep those out of the way for now. That's a little bit on the heavy side, but I'll wind up trimming them down slightly and we'll be able to make some sense out of that here in a little bit. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do before I put the deer hair on is I'm going to take just a little bit of olive dubbing get back here. And I just want to cover that up slightly. Or I just want a little bit of dubbing down on that body section. Just continuing the taper, making everything nice and clean. And then I have a nice platform right there to tie in my hair wing. Try and get out some of this under fur. that's looking good. Got everything where I want it. Now I'm going to take this back just slightly, well, in between the wing of the tail of the fibers, and then, or the tail of the hackle and the tail of the deer hair there. Okay, so now you can see we have that nice and spread out, nice spinner looking wings right there. And then we're just going to take and trim this right on back. Give a nice shape to that wing. Let's see here. There we go, that's looking better. Nice shape to that wing, same thing on the opposite side. You're going to have your shorter fibers on the back section right there. Okay, now that everything's set how we want it, I'm just going to take and trim that just slightly. It was a little bit longer than what I wanted it. Alright, now we have that good. I want to take and position my thread right behind the eye there. And then I'm going to take my deer hair, I'm going to set this in, see how much I got. I may have a little bit too much. Once again, there we go. We're going to measure that out, bring that back almost, well, right at the tail portion, or right at the end of where the body is. And then we're going to cut that off nice and square. Once again, you got a nice square section. Rotate your thread to the right. Just a little bit. Just a little. There we go. Get that first one in there. And I'm not going to be able to flare this as much as I would like because I'm using this 8/0. I'm going to try to. Without breaking it. And it looks like I was able to get it for the most part. Just get a quick whip finish right in front. And there we go. Now what we're going to do is just take and peel these wings out slightly. If there's any final trimming that you want to do on them, now's the time to do it. I'd really recommend using a oh man, air conditioner when it's 100 degrees out. Not here. I really recommend not using the 8/0 because you really can have a tough time flaring that head. It didn't turn out as good as I would like it. I mean, it's still a nice clean head. Everything looks good enough. But I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more of a pull on that. If you can go with like the nano threads or the powder silks, stuff like that. They make stuff in a 10/0, which is thinner than this, but it has the same strength. It's GSP is what it is. Roman Mauser makes some stuff. There's some stuff over in the UK that's phenomenal as well. That will allow you to manipulate that deer hair a little bit better. But as you can see, we tied that on a 16 today. Those wings are just slightly longer than what I would like them, so I'm going to take a little bit off. As I'm sitting here looking at it, I don't really like the way that they're setting, so. Alright, trim those out just a little bit. There we go, that's looking a little bit better. But like I was saying, we tied this one on a 16 today. This one's probably more so a 14, just because you have this extended portion of the body coming back a little bit from the initial deer hair that we put in. So it's a little bit longer. If you were wanting to fish a 16, you'd probably tie it on an 18, and then, you know, same thing all the way through. He does do a biolet version of this fly as well. I want to do that one at some point. It'll have to be later on once I get everything situated back east and go from there. But that is Kelly Galloup's found link. If you guys have questions or comments, leave them with me and I'll get back to you. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll catch you in the next fly.